afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients. My name's Priscilla, and I'm a crone. And today we're going to talk about Heather's and my trip to Mount Shasta this last weekend.
The adventure.
The adventures of Priscilla and Heather at Mount Shasta. So I hope you guys are here to enjoy the insanity. But before we get to that, we're going to start with Heather and her cards.
Yeah, haven't done that for a while, have we?
No, we haven't.
I was doing some cards when we were up there, but not doing anything. So let's see what they think we need to know today.
And to card cam we go. How is everybody today? I hope you're having a beautiful Tuesday afternoon or morning wherever you are. We're a bit jet lagged, but it's all good.
That's true. That's true.
I got charged up in our swimming pool, which is a salt pool, so it really does recharge you. Can you push that one up just a little bit? I can't read it.
Okay. What this one says is shifting. It's hard to see, but it says shifting. So that's what it says here. And this one says power. So when we're looking at where we are right now, we're in the process of rejuvenation. And in that process, believe it or not, sometimes we do try to make it too simple. And it's not always that simple. But we have the human power that we need to do it. And of course, we're always shifting, which also makes the rejuvenation more complicated. And we just can't. When we're shifting, it's really hard to make it more simple. But when we use the celestial powers that we have and we ask for their help, then we can go ahead and make that shifting very much faster.
Cool.
And the frequency shift is there because we've asked for help doing this. And we don't try to make it quite as simple as it's not. Or we don't try to make it too easy. And sometimes we do, and then we don't actually get what we're working on to really get done because we skip too many steps trying to keep it simple. With their help, we do what we need, and our bodies, we have the power to do it, and we are shifting at all times. So we need their help to make sure that we get everything we need to do for the frequency shift.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All righty. So, as you know, we did a live from Mount Shasta, and that was just one of the exciting points. We were getting our flat tire fixed at the time we were filming with the air gun.
It was fun. It was like stepping back in time.
It certainly was. So we got to Sacramento with absolutely no problem at all, and got our car rented, and they upgraded us to a Chevy Suburban, which is actually just a behemoth.
A behemoth, yeah. And we actually got to see airplanes trying to put out a big fire.
Yes.
Out in the field.
As we were driving, I don't remember the area it was, but as we were driving up 5, we saw all this smoke in the air. And I mean, it was huge. And the closer we got, we started seeing airplanes flying around. And I swear one of them was as big as a 727. I don't know what they were doing.
Except they were diving down into it.
But they were going into the smoke.
Around and diving in again.
Yeah.
So I guess they were trying to put out a fire. Because it was a big fire.
It was an enormous fire. And it was white smoke for the longest time. And then it started turning black about the time we passed it. So I don't... That to me is like tires or something awful that turns it black.
Or machinery that's caught in the fields.
Yeah, could be.
Because to me it was grain. You know, I was on a farm in Kansas for a long time, and if it was white snow, the wheat was burning.
White
white
smoke.
smoke.
Yeah,
The
right.
wheat was burning, and the tires and everything else. That would be like a tractor or a combine that they just didn't get out fast enough.
Well, that could be true because all that area was full of orchards. It was right before we got into the mountains, and it was all orchards, and a lot of it was olives, which I was surprised. I didn't know we had California olives.
Yeah.
Silly me. We should have, but I mean, there was
Olives and fruit trees, and there was corn. I saw corn, and there was also alfalfa. I saw alfalfa growing,
I didn't see
and
that.
some that was in rows where they, where they cut it and then they roll it over so it can dry out.
Yeah, and it was an easy drive. 5 is literally, I guess it's Interstate 5 because it goes up to Oregon and Washington, and it was right outside the airport. Literally drove out of the rental car place and straight on to 5, and I think it was a 3-hour drive up, and the roads are fabulous. The best roads I've been on in many, many years, because I don't know about you guys, but Florida roads are pretty bad, and it was delightful. And even the highway road up to Mount Shasta, up throughout the mountain, beautiful, like it had been
Right.
paved yesterday. Plenty wide for 2 cars, and it was about 45 miles an hour that you would go. It was just
about the opposite of
delightful.
where we were staying.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So we believe, as we finally got to where our house was, our little cabin was, it was up the side of a mountain,
Yeah.
about 2 miles up, and about halfway was paved, and the other half wasn't paved. So I
sort
think
of.
Spirit gave us that 4-wheel drive Chevy Suburban on purpose. We needed it.
Yes.
And about halfway up, it turned into half pavement and half dirt. And then by the time we almost there, it was absolute rubbish dirt, gravel. And then when you turned into the place, you had to go behind another house and a garage or a barn or something,
in
and
front of the whatever it was.
a big
Turn.
truck, and you had to turn and go down another hill to this cabin. So we get out of the car to the cabin, and I go to the steps, and the steps are like the kind, like 3 or 4 up that you could buy at Walmart, or not Walmart, Home Depot or Lowe's, one of those places that you would put up next to a deck. So the door had a little deck with it, but the stairs were not attached, and the stairs were like,
It was an adventure.
so we go in, and it's hot as heck, but there's an air conditioner, so we get the air conditioner working, and
Only took it
the bed
24
wasn't
hours.
made. The bed wasn't made. I had to make my own bed. I couldn't believe you have to make your own bed at a B&B. But I understand now that that was part of the COVID protocol. I don't like that.
So that we would know that it was freshly.
Freshly
laundered.
laundered. No, I like it done by the Hilton. I'm afraid.
But the view was just fantastic.
The view, it was like you were in a magical forest. If a fairy had come out of the woods or Bigfoot had come
Would
out,
not have surprised
would
us.
not have surprised us.
gorgeous.
It literally was magical, and you didn't mind the drive up and down because of that. It was just, and
even
there weren't any
driving.
cars. There weren't even any cars. I think we met 1 car and 1 motorcycle in the 5 days we were there.
Yeah, and even the drives. I mean, they were so closed in that you're down this path that you're driving, and there's woods on either side of you. You have the mountain on one side and a deep drop off if you happen to miss the road.
That's
But
true.
other than that, the trees would stop you.
Hi, Warrior Girl, Chris MK, Ron, thanks for being here. I'm so glad you're here to hear our tales. It was crazy.
It was fun.
And then, so also, I couldn't get the Wi-Fi on. So I couldn't check my email because I knew she'd sent me a new Wi-Fi setup. But I couldn't access my email because I didn't have any Wi-Fi. And we had like a half a bar. Which funny story, Ron.
There are so many that were funny.
And the first night the power went out. In the middle of the night, the power went out. We were like, "Oh my God!"
I sleep with a CPAP.
Yep.
Which means that's how I breathe. And all of a sudden, I'm not breathing. I wake up and I'm like.
And I had come running in from my bedroom because I was worried about her on the CPAP. I came running in. Are you okay? Are you breathing? Because it was still no fans or anything. Well, I was ready to go to the hotel first thing in the morning. However, the air came back on, the electric came back on, and all was well.
Yes.
And we did manage to get the Wi-Fi password, so
And
it was all right.
Beat the view. I mean, you'll see it later, but you couldn't beat the view.
Well, we can show one.
Yeah, like you show. Now that's not the one with the view. That's one of the views, but the view from the cabin it must be.
Okay, let's look at this one though. This is really
let's
neat.
See what it is.
So this is our first trip up the mountain, I believe, right? When we went with Dr. Gale.
When we went with Dr. Gale.
We met Dr. Gale for breakfast on Friday morning, and then as fast as we could eat and get out of there, we went up the path.
Right.
We went up the road.
And I was taking lots of pictures.
And she was taking lots of pictures. But was this on top? Where was this?
Yeah, this was in the summit. On the summit, I was taking pictures around.
But the curve of the road, that doesn't look like the summit.
Well, yeah, it came around, and then behind us is the summit.
Okay. Oh, so it was on. Okay.
Yeah.
So look at this shadow on the left. This is not.
Not a reflection.
Not a reflection.
I was not in the car.
And if you look at the top of the white shadow on the right, if you look to the left of it, you'll see a face. You'll see a triangle for a nose and a mouth. And I believe that's my spirit guide, Red Eagle. It's to the left of the white, at the very top of the white. I wish I could point it.
But the easiest part.
I can't.
The easiest part to see was actually of a saint.
We believe the white shadow is Saint Germain standing next to Heather, and that I believe that behind him at the top is Red Eagle.
Right.
Isn't that wild?
I'm going, what the heck? And I go, that looks
We
like
couldn't-
a person.
There was no light like that, and in at the picture before or behind. This was strictly all by itself, and we knew that Saint Germain was with us, because when I walked the labyrinth and I got to the center, and I could feel him, and I could feel that unconditional love that you get from the ascended masters or anybody in 5D really, but it was an incredible feeling and brought tears to my eyes. So I knew he was with us, but I certainly didn't get a picture of him, and Heather did. That's what we believe anyway. You think so, Scott?
You wish.
Hi, Scott.
Oh, you see this other one. You can explain it for us, okay?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to the pictures instead of finishing the stories of craziness. Okay, so this is the view of Mount Shasta from our living room.
Right. You can look out the glass doors, and there's the view of Mount Shasta. And I was busy taking pictures that morning
Okay, now I'm going to show you another view of Mount Shasta.
that I took just after this
This
one.
is the picture after.
Where's the mountain?
Where's the mountain?
What happened to the mountain?
Where did the mountain go? We're
It was
talking
right-
the
boom, boom,
same
boom, click,
the same
click,
minute.
click.
The same minute both pictures were taken. So I can tell you there are crazy energies on the mountain, and I believe, and what I got from my guides is it actually does shift in and out of 3D.
Yeah, we did. Who did he? No, I don't think so. I was sitting up and looking at it, and I was taking pictures, and I'm like, "Where's the mountain?" And I finally, when I couldn't find the mountain anymore, I just took a picture of it without it there. I'm going, "What happened?"
Isn't that crazy? Well, these are the only 3 pictures I could load into this program that we're using, which I'm really sorry because we have some beautiful ones, but I will load up as many as I can on Facebook. And I don't know if you can load them up on
You can load pictures on Facebook.
YouTube. On YouTube.
How do you think I keep in track
I'm
of
talking
my
about YouTube, not Facebook.
YouTube? I don't know.
Anyway, we'll load them up on Facebook, a bunch of them, and you can see because we have
Tons.
We have tons. You want to show them some on your iPad, the ones with
yeah.
the marks? We also have like little dark orbs that you would think was a smudge, but they're in different spots.
When we were driving up there, we had this one come up, and look above the mountain. Here's the mountain. Look at the black spot. We don't know
Can
how
you
that
tilt
got
it?
there. That's about as good as I can get it. If I tilt it down, it disappears.
Oh, I
So does
see.
the
You can't do
mountain.
it flat. Oh, the mountain's gone.
So, but there were other ones too. Let me go back, and they were really interesting because, again, it's not spots on my camera. It's not. For instance, this one. Let's see if I can get. No, you can't see.
I
it.
can't see 'em on
there's
that
2
one.
spots here. Let me see if I can find another one. There was one we were looking at.
Every time we would go on top and take photos at that Summit
There were
parking area,
Things there.
there was all kinds of dots.
Yeah. Well, I'll find them later, I guess. 'cause
I guess
don't-
so.
Oh, no, I don't see them. I'll find them later, but they're sets a series. There was a series of straight dots, and then there were some other ones. And I turned a little bit, still had the same tree in there, and shot again, and there were different dots, but no longer any
So
dots.
I think there's some kind of orb.
Or spaceships or whatever.
You think they're spaceships?
I think they were.
We took our night vision goggles and we did see a spaceship the first night that we were there. So I actually saw several.
From the cabin. There's not
Just from the
hardly
cabin.
any lights. It's dark out there.
It's very dark, but we didn't have much window in the trees either to be able to look up. So that was kind of funny.
It was not a reflection, and it wasn't an orb. Because I was looking straight out the window, and it would be there 1 minute, and next time it wouldn't be there.
Let's see, is that it?
Yeah, see, it's not there. And that's not a reflection.
I don't see how it could be a reflection. There was nothing to reflect.
I really
It
think
literally, that's what it should have looked like.
so,
Maybe up at the top of that area, but look at where the trees are.
Yeah.
So you can see the top of the
It's a little
trees
bit
at the
closer,
bottom.
and it's
Crazy, isn't it?
It's very, very weird.
What was the first picture? Oh yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, that was the shadow.
That's Saint Germain
Yeah,
and Red Eagle.
and Red Eagle.
But like I said, we have tons of them. So we, I had told Dr. Gale to come up and stay while she was moving from one B&B to the other. So she would say, I'm sorry, but our place is a dump.
Got a nice view, though.
But it has a nice view. And she walked in and she took one look around and went, yeah, it is kind of a dump.
It served a purpose.
But we weren't there except for to sleep. Maybe have something to eat and then crash because we were so busy from hiking around the woods
We were tired.
we were exhausted and in bed by 8 o'clock. But then again, it doesn't go dark until about 10, I think.
Right
and
about
it
10.
and it gets light
Their
about
time.
5. Yeah, 10.
Their time.
Their time. And gets light about 5 o'clock in the morning, their time, California time. So we were up really up and out. We were ready to explore and play. And another place that we went to that I really loved was the Gateway Peace Garden.
Oh, wow.
A couple started that in 2002. Bought the property and we're just going to create a little garden. And now you can show some of those pictures. I'm sure they can see
I
those.
found 15 different places.
Little
that are set
rooms.
aside.
Little
Oh,
rooms.
in there.
There was tons of prayer flags hanging everywhere. It was the most peaceful garden. We were the only ones there. And we went with our shaman the first day, and then we went back by ourselves, and we were still there by ourselves. You'd have thought a place like this would be full of tourists, but it really wasn't. It was quiet. You saw hikers.
One area. So I'm trying to keep the lights off of it because you don't get a glare. And then
Where's your list? A bunch of them. They
Yeah,
should
I
be all
know.
together.
it went back to. Sometimes I think we're not supposed to show you everything.
Go to your shared file.
I
You're in the
did that
library.
originally, and it didn't do. Here we go.
Here we go. There was a beautiful labyrinth that she walked, which surprised me because it was lavender.
But it wasn't blooming. It's. Come here. See,
Tracy
it's not
says she
blooming.
lives in the mountains too, and it's always changing and beautiful. Yes, that was the
a
labyrinth.
Huge lavender labyrinth, and it's difficult to walk because they didn't give you very much room.
No, it was very
You had to
narrow.
walk in here, and there's another thing with all the prayer flags. There's even a
Did you get the pole?
oh, you want the pole,
Yeah, show them the prayer pole, the peace pole.
the God pole, the needle of God. If I can find it. That's the needle of God. The prayer pole.
No, there's another one called the prayer pole.
Oh, but that's the needle. And it
Looks
almost
like a pencil to me.
Like,
You can't see it with the light glaring off of it because it's
but
really.
it's got dark, like nails or screws or something in it. So,
I highly recommend anybody that has any interest whatsoever in the spiritual aspect of Mount Shasta, do it. Just go. Just do. It
as
is
you can see,
magical.
It's just full. And the shaman brought us there first. So, but you could see and I just kept walking the paths, and I think there were about 15 of them. And I'm going, wow, do rolling hills. Huh?
The mountains. He's talking to Tracy Ralph there.
Oh. Well, in my head, I counted 15.
It was a very spiritual energy.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that mountain being magic. I was contacted by a Lemurian. I don't have information to share about that yet, except for I was pretty surprised. And we'll see what happens from there. I don't really know. But it's a whole different feel than the Rockies. I lived in Colorado in the Rockies for years, and the Cascades have a whole different look, actually, a whole different feel, a whole different energy, particularly Mount Shasta.
Very easy climbing. It's not so many. It doesn't feel like it does so many switchbacks. You are going up, but it doesn't feel like a steep climb. And you don't have to worry about the rocks. Actually, the last day I said, okay, I'm putting my sandals back on. I don't need sneakers. That's what I walked in.
Telepathically, I got a message before I left here, and then I got messages while I was there.
Yeah.
And didn't get to go in the mountain.
Yeah.
Darn it. That would have been fun. But maybe next time, you never know.
You never know. It's just so different there. It feels completely different. And you're in total awe of the scenery.
Yes, I have always been attracted to the mountains. When I was a child, I couldn't wait to grow up and move to Colorado, where we had vacationed a lot during my youth. And
I'll take this piece.
I actually preferred Mount Shasta to the mountains in Colorado.
And I would be a daily or at least a weekly visitor to the city park to get water.
Oh yes, the city's park is the headwaters of the Sacramento River, and people are there every single day with any kind of container, jugs, whatever. Do you have the one of the guy carrying the two jugs?
No, I don't have a picture of them. I don't.
It's no matter what, they would take
they're
dollies.
Their weekly or daily water to drink.
And literally would get in. It's like a little pond, and you can see all the water flowing out of the rocks. And they would wade in and take their container to whichever spot.
Wherever it's coming in fresh.
Yeah, and there were several places where it was coming in fresh, but they would take it to one place or another and fill up their containers for the week or whatever. It was really wild. Yeah. And the water was delicious. Absolutely ice cold and delicious. So we filled up our water bottles and before we would go up the mountain or do any hiking. And another one of the special places that we went was Panther Meadows. We went with our shaman to Panther Meadows, and we did a meditation on healing the meadows because they've had so much foot traffic and over the years, and it's a sacred Indian ground, and
it has springs right near the surface. You can see where they had been, but there's not as much of it now. And there's one area that's pretty well. They've got wood boards over it. You walk across it now. And she said to stick whatever minerals, whatever stones we wanted in, because it would clean them. And this necklace is just unbelievably brighter.
It changed colors.
It changed. It was so dark, and now
and dull. It was dark and dull, and
now it's green, and you can see it's bright compared to what it usually was. And it was so weird because I just stuck it in the water, and as it went in and it got down to the bottom, where about 2 or 3 inches, all of a sudden it changed color, and it was so weird, but great.
I know. I was like, okay, I'm bringing all my jewelry next time. A backpack full of stuff to put in the water. But this water was literally, it was a spring coming straight out of the ground, and it was just beautiful and clear. And so it was just past that we went to do our little meditation, and
but that was just unbelievable. You would not believe the amount of color I all of a sudden got in it. And it was so dark.
Warrior Girl, that comes from Lily Rose, I think is the name of the place that makes her necklace. Lily Rose Jewelers.
And it's Elizabeth April's brand.
Yeah, it's one of Elizabeth April's brand. No sassy. Out. The dog is trying to push the door open.
Yeah. But there were so many different things that were happening all the time.
There was.
Yeah.
You're welcome. What else did we go do? The vortexes at Sand Flats as well as Panther Meadows. We got to see both of those. Mm-hmm. And the Sand Flat vortex is enormous. It's circular. Almost naturally circular.
Nothing cut down, it just stays that way.
And it's flat sand in the center, but at the forest it goes all the way around it, and there's camping areas on one part on the back side of it.
But you're not allowed to camp in the circle itself.
Right.
And there are lots of, what kind of circles are they? Prayer circles, or what do they call those?
Labyrinths.
There were.
I counted at least 3 in that particular
3 or
area.
4. The people would make the labyrinths.
Yeah, there's labyrinths and stacked stones all over the place. Mm-hmm. It's obviously a sacred mountain for a lot of people, and there's been a lot of love and energy.
And yet it wasn't
put on that mountain by the humans that are going there now, and there really wasn't.
It wasn't crowded. You could feel alone there very quickly.
Easily, very easily. Just take a step off the road, and you were in magical woods.
Yeah. One place we were going was where they used to get water from, but it's dried up. in one of the areas where they were camping, and this one lady was busy meditating. Meanwhile, about 20 feet from her in her camp area was a deer eating by the table.
I don't think the lady in the chair ever saw the deer. I think the lady was
so far gone.
so far gone because she was meditating, and then the next time I looked, she was late. She was back in her chair with her eyes closed like this. I don't think she ever knew that deer was hanging out in her camp. It was really
He was
cute.
having a good old time. He looked at us and then continued doing what he was doing. He wasn't worried at all.
Yeah, Sassy's pretty cute, Tracy Ralph, but she's also one of those things, be careful what you name something because that's what they become.
Because
she's the sassiest dog. Her name is Sassafras, but we do call her Sassy, and she is sassy. Hi, Sharon Sipe. Welcome.
Hi.
But she's a Catahoula, and she's smart as a whip, and we adore her. Sassy or not, I guess we're pretty sassy, too, so it's all right.
We even had a flat tire up on the mountain.
We did indeed.
He said, this place is hard to find. I said, you live here and it's hard for you to find?
Yeah, as we were coming down off Mount Shasta, we stopped at a tire place because oh, I love the name Giggles.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh, well, it didn't work in that case. But Heather found us a tire shop because the car was saying our one tire was low. So we stopped in, aired up. The guy said, drive it around. Let's see what happens. So we were headed home for the night. And
we told him that.
We got up the next morning. It was flat as a donut.
Yes.
So we had to hire these guys to come up our mountain and take care of it. And that's the rat-a-tat-tat you heard if you watched our live on Saturday.
We had a good time.
But it was fine. No matter all those little things, we just managed to laugh our way through it. And
it was great. You guys should go if you haven't visited Mount Shasta.
It's worth a visit.
The energy there is incredible.
It's beautiful and loving and kind, and the people are nice in the area.
And it's a small, even Mount Shasta, the town.
City.
Yeah, it's only 2,000 people. It's not big.
And it was interesting. The shaman said it never grows. It just kind of stays about the same.
Mm-hmm. They had a big company trying to come in to take the water, and they lost the court battle, so the building's sitting there and never been used.
Never been used. The people in the city actually won against big corporation. I loved that part. Was there extra energy near the vortexes? Yes.
It's near the mountain even. You don't even have to. It's even more at the vortexes, but I personally could feel more energy coming from it before we ever got there. It's just like it's a huge
power generator.
Just sets it all off.
And interestingly enough, I was walking with my cane. I was having trouble with my leg walking with my cane, but every time I went to the mountain, it quit hurting. Every time I would go, hey, my foot's not hurting and my leg's not hurting.
It came off of Panther Meadows, and she didn't need her cane.
We actually had walking sticks. I didn't have the cane. I was using a walking stick when we were hiking, and I was done by the end of every day because of my leg. But walking through Panther Meadows, coming back, whoa! Yes, I do believe we both were in Lemuria.
Yes.
Yes, we do believe that.
We've been told.
Yeah, that's what we've been told. I don't have any memory of it, but we have been told that. And not in Atlantis. I don't think I was in Atlantis at all. No, we weren't in Atlantis. But we were both in Lemuria.
It is beautiful, and even if you couldn't feel the energy, it is, I will say, the first time that I could actually feel energy.
Yeah, you don't usually feel.
I don't usually feel anything, but I could actually feel it there. So it must be super powerful. When I was walking the labyrinth on the plateau of the mountain, my legs, they were really, really, really bad in the hip sockets. They haven't been like that forever and ever and ever. And I know that
Saint Germain.
Saint Germain helped me get out because I had to stop several times because I could not hardly move my legs. But I also could feel his love, and it was, I don't usually. So, yeah, you can feel things there.
So even that people that don't normally feel energy feels it there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty special in itself.
Yeah.
That's nice, Tracy. She said you can feel it in your energies.
Well, good.
I can tell you it's a really loving energy too.
Yes,
It's amazing.
It is. That's great.
I can't wait to go back. But I would say stay in Mount Shasta. We went to some other places near Dunsmuir. We stayed in Dunsmuir, which is just about 15 minutes away. And it was nice. It was fine. And Dr. Gail's staying in Dunsmuir right now till her place is ready, I think at the end of the month.
But then she's moving back
And
to
then
Mount
she's
Shasta.
moving back to Mount Shasta. And I would stay in Mount Shasta if I were you.
Yeah.
Anybody who really wants to go, stay in Mount Shasta. Most of the stuff that you want to see is around there. Most of the places you want to go are closer there. There were a couple of places like the Castle Crags. That was down actually south of Dunsmuir.
South of Dunsmuir, yeah.
And
But you
the
still-
waterfalls that we went to. What was the name of the waterfalls we went to? McAllen?
Something like that, yeah.
And there was 3 places, observation points that you could see the falls down at the bottom, and there were people swimming in the water down there. It was
And
so
the second
neat.
one.
And then we were up at the second one, and the third one, I guess you can see the falls as it goes over, but they say the second is the best for viewing,
For
and of
energy.
course the first is the best for if you want to put your feet in the water. But my leg was having none of that walk that day, so we didn't
We
get.
didn't go very
We
far
just
in
went to
there.
the second
But
overlook.
it wasn't very far from the parking lot. It
Maybe
didn't take
what?
long to walk.
100 yards, if that.
Yeah.
It was close.
I
So
went down to get a different view of it, but even that wasn't very far to go. Yeah, I was going to say, even on the crags where they had the landing for us to get up to look at the Castle Crags, if you just turn to your right a little, there's the mountain.
yeah, you could
can't
see
miss
Mount.
it.
You could see Mount Shasta just as well as the crags. It was
Yes.
good. It was
Very
a beautiful
pretty.
view of each spot. So that was kind of neat. Let's see. I
Lots of
think
trees to hug.
yes, we did quite a bit of tree hugging. Especially you did on the Castle Crags. She
Yeah.
got a message that she was supposed to
Do something.
hug
I
some
ended up
trees.
touching most of the trees. I hugged one, and I evidently got information from them, but being me, I don't know what it was, but I will when I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also want to say Seven Suns Coffee, SUNS, Coffee and Cafe has great coffee. The Starbucks, I didn't care for their coffee, and I'm a Starbucks fan. I like the soy lattes. It didn't taste right. It just didn't taste good. So, and I think that was 2 different Starbucks we went to. But the Seven Suns coffee was delicious. And then there's one called the Black Bear Diner where we met Dr. Gale a couple of times. And the biscuits were like this big. No kidding.
big.
Light and fluffy, but enormous. And how were the pancakes?
I don't eat pancakes.
Oh, you didn't have the pancakes. It was Dr. Gale that had pancakes.
Yeah.
And then we also had burgers there. We ate breakfast there twice and dinner there once, and we had burgers, and it was amazing.
And the second time that we had breakfast there, I got off their menu and looked for the child portions because that's more me.
Oh, I guarantee you the child's portions are plenty big.
Yeah.
The,
Dr.
any
Gale
plate was
saying
huge.
She's going to look there next time because there's too much to eat otherwise. It's just, that's more me too. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah. So I guess that's probably a good bit of what we did, summary
Yeah.
of what we did.
But some of it was really amazing, and sometimes we didn't realize how amazing it was until, like, with that picture that got taken with the shadows in there, or the one doesn't have the mountain in it. We don't understand why some of these things came out that way. So sometimes it's just a matter of looking at the pictures
I think
afterwards.
that mountain fades in
Yeah.
and out of
And
3D
I think those
and
black
5D.
dots were something as well, because
I do
we
too.
had several pictures that had black dots. It's not the camera. These were in different places, and they were different sets, and they were completely different. So it was really unusual.
It was unusual. So, does anybody else have any questions about it? I'm going to go back and just show that one, just because we can.
Just because.
Because
The shadow there is
Saint
what we're
Germain.
yeah, and if you look correctly, sometimes you can see it and sometimes you can't. But I think our guardian Indian is there.
Red Eagle. I can see him clear as day right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can see it and sometimes I can't.
Sometimes you have
It's
to
just a
work on it.
full front. It's a full front view of him. Just to
Yeah.
the top right
But
of
those like the
Saint
two
Germain.
clouds are actually his eyes, right?
Yeah.
Or glaciers or whatever they are. But anyway. Yeah, he's there, and he's in the mist as well, so.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
kinda
interesting anyway.
Cool. Yeah.
So, okay, so on Saturday, we're going to talk about opening your heart as part of our awakening, the awakening process, how to open your heart. And then on Sunday, we're going to have Mr. Scott Allen.
The amazing Mr.
The
Scott
amazing Mr. Scott Allen. He's going to be on here at 3 o'clock on Sunday. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And what is it? Scott Allen's Spiritual Essence. So we'll put out an ad for that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And let's read some cards. Who wants their cards read today? We're ready to read some cards.
Glasses on.
Glasses on. Coffee in my...
And the nice thing was that instead of all of the
Excuse me.
hoopla that's been going on with the airlines, we actually had no trouble.
I'm actually live on TV, so if you could call me back, I would appreciate it in about a half an hour. Thank you.
Oh, sure thing, so thank you.
Oh my God. That was GoDaddy about our website. I had to take that call. How funny. Sorry about
Is
that.
there anybody that does want a card, or should I just pull one for until Saturday?
Warrior Girl wants number 13 for sure.
Alrighty.
And I imagine Jules will want number 7. Thanks, guys, for coming by and listening to our story. It was fun.
It was fun, and the thing is, the more we talk about it, the more we realize was different than what we imagined. I was reading a book, and all of a sudden, it's making a whole lot of sense to me, where before I don't think it would have.
Interesting.
But I'm like, oh, I do that. I didn't know I was the one to do that. Okay. Anyway, for Warrior Girl intuition, use it. Yours is right on.
Woohoo. Nice card.
That's what I was getting. It says,
Nice
Yes.
card, Kelly.
depend on it. Don't second guess yourself. It's right. Okay?
Who else wants a card today? I bet Ron will want a card, so let's give Ron a card.
Well, nobody's answering, so I don't know. It's been fun, though. It's nice to get away for a short time, but it's really nice to get home.
Yep. You know, my daughter was asking me, you weren't gone very long. You were only gone like 5 days. And I was like,
That's
that was plenty.
that's plenty.
I'm
we
happy.
usually go like crazy when we're gone, so we need the break.
I need the rest.
Oh, besides, we miss our fur babies.
That most of all, I think. My bed and my fur baby. Although,
I miss my bed.
in the dump,
Couch just
that bed
doesn't
was
do it.
not... The bed was okay at the cabin.
Good.
Except for that you would slide off. Anytime I sat down on the bed, tried to sit down on the bed, the sheets and the mattress would slide off the box springs or slide across the box springs. So you had to be really careful when you sat down so that you didn't push at all.
Yeah. I thought they had the most ingenious thing in there. You had the living room, and in the living room there was a fire stove and a regular standing heater. You know, like in the old houses on the farmhouses, you know, one on the floor, and you could cook on top of it if you didn't have, you know.
I remember those.
Anyway, you could do that with this. But that room was the only room that had any heaters. You had this oven for the kitchen, but then you go into the bedroom, and there's no heater, but if you look up, there's a space about that big, and inside that space is like a sideways fan, like a waterfall, but it's sideways, and it has a plug to plug in, and it brings all the air from the living room, which is warm, into the bedroom.
Well, it's right by the wood burning stove. It's right by the wood burning stove.
Yeah.
So that's how they blew air into the bedroom.
Yeah, so it wasn't quite so cold. I thought that was cool.
But
Never seen anything
the
like
fireplace, the wood burning stove, just had these two pieces of mortarboard behind it, you know, to protect from
Protect the
fire,
walls.
to protect the walls.
that.
It
And
was
then one right in front of the couch to protect the
yeah,
couch.
one in front of the couch to protect the couch, and it was about four inches from the wall, but it was just wide open. It was just like these two pieces of board stuck together. It was crazy.
It was.
Okay, card for Ron.
And we never did turn on the TV.
Not once.
Not once.
No TV.
Personally, the first night I was afraid to. I was afraid what would happen.
Yeah, I turned on the fan in the bedroom, and I thought the arms were going to come flying off. It made such a racket, it scared me to death. I thought it was going to come apart. But it didn't. I turned it down, and it was okay. So this is for Ron.
And it's
Divinity.
They are right behind you. Don't be afraid to ask them for help.
Whoa.
Okay?
Beautiful.
They are supporting you
And my
if
colors.
you let them. Okay?
Look at those beautiful colors. Pink
Yeah.
and purple and
Yeah.
blue.
Don't be afraid.
Okay, let's have a card for the week.
Alrighty.
And a big shout out to Sun Psychic Jean for handling our
Yes.
live on Saturday. She just did a great job,
Yes, she
and
did.
it was a wild and crazy time at our house, at the cabin that morning with the flat
It
tire
was
and all.
cool.
But
It
it all
was.
worked out really well. So I'm very thankful to you, Miss Jean, and thank you very much.
This is your
Right order.
card for everybody. You're all doing everything in the right order. Keep it up. Things are exactly as they are supposed to be. No matter what you may think. You know, somebody may be here and somebody here. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. They are exactly where they're supposed to be. You don't need to catch up. It's not a race. Everything is the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Everything is in the right order. I love it. So we'll see you on Saturday to talk about, what was it? Love? Opening to love?
Oh, openness.
Opening your heart as part of your awakening. We just
Yes.
tried to figure it out this morning because we didn't have anything planned for Saturday. So, but we did have planned for Scott on Sunday.
Right.
So,
We are so happy he's going to join us.
yeah, we're excited to see Scott come back. That'll be lots of fun. So,
I'm so glad to be home and back with all you guys.
absolutely. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you Saturday afternoon at 3 and hopefully Sunday afternoon at 3 as well. But we love you guys so much,
Lots of
and
love.
thanks for being here.
And if you enjoyed, please
Like,
share it.
subscribe, and share.
And I didn't touch it.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.